Hey guys, so Lisa P here. So I'm at my house, as you are too, and I'm going to record this yoga practice that I like to do. It's going to be about 50 minutes long, probably closer to 60, with some prep. So do this one when you have some time, okay? So this one is one of my favorite, and I kind of call this one functional flow, because I take some functional mobility-based movements and kind of pepper them in with some yoga flow. So, and it's best done really, really slow. Now, it's a tough practice, and it will make you sweat, but not in the way we do with like some of our HIIT workouts where we're doing jumping jacks and burpees and running in place and things like that. No less effective, and no less challenging, but slower. So hopefully we can keep that parasympathetic nervous system on board while getting strong, while getting flexible, while getting fit. So what I'm taking is for the functional part, mobility part of this, is I use a lot of modalities that I really enjoy, body weight modalities, willpower method for barefoot yoga, some animal flow, primal flow, if you've seen some of those, MovNat. So it might be different for some of you. So if there's anything that's really challenging or confusing, come back to something that's comparable. I'll give you a lot of options that's comfortable for you or right for you. And if something certainly hurts or doesn't feel right for your body, make a modification. Down dog, child's pose are always good places to go if you need to regroup and recover, okay? So music-wise, I just have a free non-copyrighted yoga flow on here via Apple Music. Because this is going on YouTube, you may not hear music or they may block it. So feel free to just put on some Spotify or some music, yoga music for you. It's not choreographed by any means. Okay. So we're just going to start. And I hope you enjoy this practice, because I really, really like doing this practice. And I've never really taught it anywhere. So it's just something I do by myself. So welcome to my workout. So find your yoga mat. If you have a bolster, you can have that, because we are going to do some relaxation at the end. Yoga block, if you have one. If you don't have a yoga block, go grab a thick book. I know you guys are homeschooling. Or even a towel that you can fold up. Like I have a meditation blanket I have here, like one that you can fold up to use as a prop, as well as a yoga block. Okay? All right, so hopefully you paused it and you're coming back. So all I want you to do is start. So we're going to start with some somatic yoga. It's another practice that I like to do. So I want you to start on your back with your feet just outside the hips, and your palms facing down. Okay. So I'm going to talk you through this with your palms facing down. I want you to visualize your body. I want you to visualize your body as a skeleton, okay? So that's our innermost, the center of this structure we call our body. So with your eyes closed, and I want you to visualize yourself as a skeleton. We all know what they look like. And the bone, the centermost layer of your body. The next layer to that is going to be ligaments, tendons, muscle. And then beyond that is fascia. And then subcutaneous fat and skin. So I want you to imagine yourself as that innermost layer. You are a skeleton laying here on the ground. And I want you to imagine with activation of pulling the muscles in your entire body toward the bone. So it's like a slight tensing, right? And then everything else from the skin inward pulling in toward the bone. So we can create this connection and this activation that we have available to us in our practice to create stability, and foundation for every movement and every pose. So right here, as you're laying on the ground, just imagine the slightest amount of activation, like you're pulling muscle to bone. When I say that during the practice, you'll have a reference. And so against that practice of being able to activate and create stability just with muscle and fascial tensioning. So right here, I'd like you to place your palms down, slide your arms a little further away from you, and I'd like you to press your right arm way into the ground from the shoulder to the fingertips. Like press it really firmly into the ground and notice where you lighten up in response to that pressing down. And relax that. And do the same thing on the left side. So push your fingertips, your palm, your wrist, your arm, all the way up to your elbow and shoulder. Press it into the ground and see where you lighten up. Chances are it's probably in your left upper shoulder, upper arm. And then relax that. And then just lift the right arm off the ground about an inch. You just hold it there. And see what happens in the rest of your body in response to that. Release that down. Do the same thing on the other side. So right arm lifts and just floats about an inch above the ground. And where do you feel a change in your body? And release that down. Now without activating anything else, I'd like you to lift your head about 1 inch off the floor. Just lift your head as if you could slip your hand underneath your head and just feel where you feel a pressure change. Is it your shoulders, your hips? And release your head back down. Now lift your right leg off the ground, just an inch, and see where you shift, where you have to create more pressure or depth to maintain that. And release your right leg down. And then do the same thing with your left leg. Lift it just an inch off the ground. And where do you feel some tensioning or some change in your body weight? To just hold that leg off the ground. And release that back. Now press your right leg into the ground. Press it as hard as you can and see what lightens up. Is it the left side of your body? And then release. Now press your left leg from your heel to the back of your thigh into the ground as hard as you can. And see where you lighten up. Kind of a reciprocal lightening, and then release that. And then right here, I'd like you to draw one knee at a time into your chest. Draw your chin towards your chest and your forehead towards your shins. And then gently grasp behind the hands. Come on up, cross your ankles, and you're going to flip into a child's pose. So with your knees wide, your big toes together, use your hands to push your hips way back. So I just want to use this activation phase and this connection phase for you to just connect to your body and learn how to access your foundation. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Now tuck your toes under and just rock your hips back. And then from there, lift your knees. And then lift your hips into like a bent down facing dog. Hang your head and then lift one heel up and the other heel down. Just kind of feeling a stretch through your calves. And then gently and slowly walk your hands to your feet and take a soft forward fold here. Let the upper body just hang here. Maybe even sway side to side. So wherever we're making some poses or some holds, don't ever be afraid to explore. Now take your fingers and separate each toe so that your toes are the widest point of your foot. And then slowly roll yourself up. So your feet might feel a little funny here because your toes are wider than they normally are. So right here, just a little foot fitness. I want your feet to get stronger. They're your foundation. So I'd like you to just, I know you can't see my head, lift and lower your toes. Lift and lower. I've set this up so you can see my toes. Lift and lower. Now, especially when we're standing, our feet are our only foundation, so I want you to get them strong and get connected to them. So hold all 10 toes up and then just work through big toe pressing down. And then both of your baby toes pressing down. And then spread your toes and practice a slight grip of the mat. It's as if you're pulling your arch of your foot off the mat without scrunching your toes. So practice that on both feet, activating the arches And imagine you're pulling the ball of your foot closer to your heel. I'm going to step back a little so you can see. And then from there, standing on the mat in Tadasana or mountain pose, with your feet hip width apart, I want you to kind of lean forward. Close your eyes, lean forward and lean back. Lean forward so you feel weight into your landing pad or your ball of your foot, and then lean back so you feel weight into the center of your heels. And then you can even play with going slightly right, slightly left. Now I want you to kind of settle into a place where you feel your hips are right over your heels, shoulders are right over hips, good alignment, and that you feel equal pressure from the mound of your big toe to the mound of your baby toe, and then from those 2 points to the center of your heel. And then I want you to start to incorporate that activation that's available, the muscle to bone, your thighs engage and pull upward, your glutes engage slightly, your belly engages slightly, shoulders tighten up a little, maybe pull back. Reach your fingertips down long. So this is your mountain pose. And imagine here as you're creating that slight fascial tensioning, if I were to come and push on the side of your shoulder, that you would be able to maintain a strong foundation there. Tadasana, mountain pose, strong like a mountain. Slight toe grips, right? The base of the foot activating. So from there, what I want you to do is really press firmly into your left foot. Like push it down into the mat so much so that the right foot lightens up off the mat. And just hold there for a moment. Push down further. So when we're looking for grounding, we'll push into what's on the earth. So push into your left foot. And then equal the weight again between the front and back of your foot. And then start to push the right foot deeper into the mat. Engage that side more. So push down so much that your left foot comes off the mat a little bit. And you feel that grounding in the right side of your body. And then gently come back to both feet. With your eyes closed, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Bring your palms together and your thumb knuckles to your heart. So from this strength and this foundation here with your eyes closed, we want to set up that invocation, that intention, that connection. Begin to deepen your breath and maybe even practice Ujjayi breathing here, where we create some turbulence with our breath in the back of your throat. I like to think of it like on the inhale, like almost like Darth Vader. On the exhale, like you're fogging a mirror. So really think about that, creating that activation to your breath. Now at the top of your mat, at the back of your mat, the back edge of the mat, take a deep breath in, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now I'd like you to drop your chin. We're going to do some activation and mobility movement here before we start a yoga flow. Drop your chin to your chest. Hands hang at your side. Round your shoulders, tuck your belly in. Slowly peel yourself down. Hands kind of can just kind of graze your shins, your feet, until your fingers find the mat. And with the knees soft or straight, walk yourself out into a plank. And then hold your plank here. Feel that fascial tensioning, okay? So wrists and shoulders and elbows are all lined up. Your hips are not dropping to the mat or lifting to the ceiling and down dog. You're in a strong plank. Take a breath here. How much fascial tensioning do you need to maintain that plank? I'm going to move my mat a little bit. Now, with that same slow intention, I want you to, with your knees bent or straight, push through your hands firmly into the mat. Push into the mat. Slowly roll back. Again, grazing, rolling up. Head coming up last. Chin to chest. Roll down your spine. Use a different hand to walk out first into your plank. Make your palms nice and wide. As you come out into the plank, knees or toes, execute one push-up. Step your right foot outside your right hand. Let your hips drop a little here. Lift up, step the foot back to plank, and walk back. Rolling yourself up nice and slow. Chin to chest, roll back down. Opposite hand goes out first. Find your plank. Knees or toes, one push up. Step your left foot outside your hand and drop your hips back a little. And then as slowly as you got there, step back to plank, push the mat away, and walk back. We're going to do one more on either side. Exhale, chin to chest, shoulders round, all the way down. Walk out strongly, push into the mat. Push into the mat here. One push up, knees or toes. Right leg steps out, hips drop. You can even take that back knee to the floor if you'd like. Step back to your plank. Push the mat firmly to walk back. So notice as you push into the mat, we're going to do the other side. As you push into the mat, you should feel lightness somewhere else, especially when you do the backwards walk. One push up, knees or toes. Left foot steps out. Knee can come to the floor or just lower the hips, maybe even come forward a little. Push into the mat and brace as you step back to plank. And slowly walk all the way back up. Now we're going to add to that mobility movement. So I want you to slowly roll down, walk out to your plank. One push up, knees or toes. Step your right foot forward. Now what we're going to do here is keep the weight into your left hand. Sweep the left foot forward and touch your left butt cheek to the mat. Step back into plank. Walk back. Roll up. Roll down from neck to shoulders to mid-back to low back. Walk out to plank. One push up, knees or toes. Right foot steps forward. Okay? Keep the left foot steps forward. Keep your right hand on the mat. Left hand is going to be free as you float the right leg through. Touch the butt to the floor. Float back to plank. And walk back. And roll up as slowly as you got. We're going to go one more time each side. Chin to chest, roll down. Walk out to plank. One push up, knees or toes. Use your breath here. Step the right foot forward. Left leg goes through, butt to the floor. Back to plank. And walk back. Should be getting a little warm here. And one more time on the other side. Chin to chest. Roll down. Walk out. One push up, knees or toes. Step your left foot forward. Right leg forward, butt to the floor. It's a little butt tap. Step back to plank. And walk back and roll all the way up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk back out to plank. One push up, knees or toes. Good, and press back to downward facing dog. We're going to take our feet together on downward dog here. Now I want you to push firmly into your hands. Push firmly into your feet so that your hips lift up. And by pushing down, we feel light on the up. Let your head hang. We're going to take the leg closest to me, up to the ceiling, heel to bum, and then open your hip here. Keep the shoulders square. See if you can pull your knee higher, pull your foot further across your body. Come back into what we call three-legged dog. And step that foot forward. Keep the foot on the floor or foot off the floor. And bring your knee way up high on the elbow. Push back into three-legged dog. Come forward again. Take that knee inside the elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Lift up high. I want your left heel, the heel that's on the ground, way high. Step that foot through. Place the back knee on the ground. Here what I want you to think about is muscle to bone. So draw all of your muscles in towards your bone as you reach up. Clasp the palm furthest from me and take a bend away from the hip that's longest. Okay, so you're arching toward the front knee side. Come back to center, hands towards center, and take hands to the floor. Lift up the back knee, long lunge, and step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Lower the hips, inhale to rise. Exhale, all the way back into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift again, and exhale to a fold. This time we're going to step back to plank. So step back to a high plank, okay? Instead of the push-up, we're going to bring our chest forward, knees or toes, and lower the entire torso to the ground. So here we're going to add a little bit of yoga flow. You can keep your toes tucked under or pointed. Imagine you're pulling the mat back. Push your pubic bone into the mat to keep the low back strong. Muscle to bone as you open the heart and lift. Now I want you to hold here for a breath. Breathe in, lift the heart. Exhale, pull the shoulders like you're pulling the mat back. Then come back to your knees, tuck your toes, lift the knees. So you're in a little bit of a crouch position here. Almost what I call a bear crouch. So walk your feet in or your hands in close so you can get your butt as close to the heels as you can, but your knees are off the floor. From here, you're just going to lift up. Keep the heels high now as you drop down. Heels stay high as you lift up. So breathe in here. Exhale, lift. Push into your hands. Push into the ball of your foot here. A little bear lift. 2 more times. Last one here. Hold all the way up. Take your feet together. Right heel's going to stay high as the left leg lifts up to the ceiling. Heel to bum. Keep the shoulders square. Hands equal pressure as you draw that foot toward me. Really think heel to bum. Open the knee. One more breath. Let your head hang. Now square off the leg. Come forward. Stay high on the foot that's in the back. Knee comes to the upper arm or elbow. Press back again. Come to the inside arm or elbow. Stay high on the back foot. And then this time you're going to step the back foot all the way through. Take your back knee to the ground. Muscle to bone here, belly tucked. Reach up. And this time you're going to hold the wrist closest to me and lean away from me. So you're kind of leaning toward that front bent knee. One more breath. On your next inhale, come to center. Hands come to heart center. Take your hands to the floor. Lift your back knee up and float it forward on the exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Lower the hips to rise. And exhale to fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. This time, step both feet back to a high plank. Knees or toes, lower the belly to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. You'd have that same baby cobra, but you straighten the arms and lift the pelvis off the floor. Draw belly in as you lift and switch back into downward facing dog. Lift up one heel at a time. And then we're gently and slowly going to walk our feet halfway up the mat. Okay? And we're going to practice a little core exercise here. So here's where blocks might be nice if you want to put a block underneath each hand. Your legs are fairly straight, okay? And they're fairly close to your hands. Knees bent as much as you need them to be. Let your head hang. So as you push into the floor, I want you to lift up your heels. So again, if your hammies are really tight, 2 blocks here might help you be able to straighten the legs a little bit more. But I want you to push into the mat, push into the floor or blocks as if you're doing a push-up. Really push firmly. Now, from a flat foot, engage your core. And I'd like you to take the foot closest to me. Press it and touch your wrist with it. And the other foot, touch the wrist. Lean forward, press into your hands, touch. Big, strong core activation. Let your head hang for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more on each side. Press. And then slowly lower the hips down to the floor. If you need to, take a seat here. So if you can, stay in a deep squat. 10 to the wrist, 10 to the palms. That's a really big core activation. Preps for handstands. I know Kimmy P, you're a hamstring. And Gracie, you were working on the handstands with me last time we were at the rec. So from here, everybody drop into your bum. Okay, we're gonna do a little core activation here. But before, and roll yourself down. And we're gonna take our knees in line with our hips. I'd like you to go ahead and take that yoga block that you have and place it, or book, if you have a book, place it on your thighs in that 90-90 position. If you feel your chin juts, I want you to lift your head up, tuck your chin, and lay back down. If you still feel like your chin is jutting, that's where I want you to go ahead and take that blanket or towel that you have and place it underneath so that your head's not, chin isn't jutting. A lot of us are tight in the shoulders here. I don't want your chin to be jutting into the ceiling. Okay? So I'm going to come onto the side. So you're in that tabletop position. Okay? Hands are on the block. And I want you to press into the block with your hands and your knees. And then pull your belly button. Imagine you have, like my favorite Pilates instructor, Susan already says, a sandbag on your belly. So we want the belly to poof up. Imagine you've got a heavy sandbag on your belly. If you've got 2 yoga blocks and a cork ball like I have, you can place the other one on your belly, to remind you. I don't want you to jam your back into the floor, but I want you to think about engaging your lower abdominals here. So take your fingers and poke around. If you had a pair of jeans on either side of that zipper, that should be really active right now, tight in there, okay? So hands to the block, press your knees into the block, okay? And all I want you to do is keep the block stable as you lower with the leg bent 90-90. Don't straighten the leg out. Just touch the heel to the floor and then push it into the floor. Feeling that activation like we did in the warm-up of pressing down into the floor. Okay, and come back. And the other heel. Exhale. Push it into the floor on an inhale. Exhale, bring it back up, okay? Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, press it harder. And then come back. And on the other side again. But keeping the block steady, pressure on the block. And come back up. Good. And then just take your knees to the floor and just rock your hips side to side. So at the very least, you're going to do that. The alternating heel touches, presses. We only move on the exhalation. We inhale and hold steady. Okay? So back to the block. We're going to do 4 sets each side. Level 1, you're going to do just the leg. Okay, level 2, you're going to do same arm, same leg. So the right arm and the right leg are going to come down to the floor. Knee stays bent 90-90. Arm is long though. On the inhale, press your right heel and your right thumb into the ground and pull the navel in. On the exhale, come back to your block. Inhale, lift the left arm up, press into the block, and then exhale, left heel, left arm to the floor. Press, make sure the belly, low back isn't coming off the floor here. Inhale, press further into the floor. Exhale, come back to the block. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, touch. Inhale, press further. So really the whole back of the body into the ground. Exhale, come back to the block. Inhale, reach left arm. Exhale, left heel, left thumb. Inhale, press further. Nothing can fit between your back and the mat. And come back to the block on the exhale. Inhale, right arm. This is your last set. Exhale, right heel, right arm. Inhale, press further. Hold that press as you exhale and come back. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left heel, left thumb. Inhale, press the whole back into the floor. And exhale, come back to center and release down. Whew. So from right there, what I want you to do is bring your heels close to your bum. Okay? And we're going to slowly peel the tailbone off the ground. So just the tailbone lifts in the sacrum. So your belt line is pressing into the mat. Maintain that flat belly. As you peel the rest off, feel the hip flexors start to stretch here. Squeeze the glutes and lift the hips up. Now I want you to lead with the pubic bone here. It's easy to lead with the belly. Draw the belly in, right? Lead with the pubic bone, squeeze. And then gently articulate that back down. So pressing into your heels, tuck the pelvis, so pubic bone high, and then right back down. So we're getting that maximum stretch in the hip flexors, okay? All right, so I want you to remember that hip bridge activation here, okay? That's what you're going to come back to if you need to on the next mobility movement, okay? So it will be a hip bridge, okay? So from that stable hip bridge, you're going to extend the right leg out, okay? So you're going to lift that foot up to the ceiling and then lower that foot to parallel thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, okay?
Now this time we're going to inhale, lift, and as we exhale, take it all the way back down to the ground. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it all the way down to the ground. Why don't you take it through on the other side? So we're all doing this here. Right foot stays in, heels are close to the bum. Take the left leg parallel to the right, but not touching, okay? Inhale, lift. Foot to the ceiling. Exhale, lower the thighs parallel, but keep the hips high just for this first activation. Inhale, foot to the ceiling. Exhale, lift the hips higher as you bring that leg parallel. One more time. This time as we go parallel, lower the hips to the floor. Inhale, foot to ceiling. Exhale, hips all the way down, legs parallel. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale. This time, draw knees to chest, okay? So you can stay with that activation if you want. We're going to incorporate a little more core and a little bit of the upper body in this one, okay? Again, yoga blocks can be used for this one, but try it on the floor first, okay? So what you're going to do here is you're going to bring the right leg close to you, okay? Hands to the floor, chest open. And you're going to come into a tabletop. Tabletop with the leg up hip height, and then drop through, let the bum either rest or skirt the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, swing back, push. Inhale, lift. Exhale, swing back, push. Inhale, push through the leg that's on the floor. Open up the chest one more time. Inhale, lift. You can even hang your head back if you like. Exhale, release through. Come through the other side, tend to the wrist if you need to. So it's really challenging for the front of the chest and shoulders. And hey, if we're in our house and we're in this rounded position, the more we need this. All right, so left heel close to the bum. Open the chest. Blocks are available if you need them. So when we're going to come up, we're going to come up into a bridge, swinging bridge, right? So squeeze and lift. I can bring my foot further out. Squeeze and lift. Sweep through, push into the floor. Squeeze and lift. If you need to, butt to the ground for a little recovery here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push and lift your hips. Inhale, lift. Really working through that left leg. You got two more. Inhale, press and lift. And one more. And release back. And then just circle the wrists. If you need to, reversed stretch. So you draw the palm, the fingers down on both. And then take a nice deep breath in. Cross your ankles, come on forward. Lift the knees up, downward facing dog. Paddle through your feet. And then gently and slowly walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Lower the pelvis, inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor. Step your feet back to high plank. Knees or toes, low plank. Belly to floor. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Right leg closest to me, up to the sky. Step it through. Good. Place the back heel down. So preparation for foundation for your warrior one is your back heel is kind of lined up with the front heel, but your back toes are on an angle. Press into the mat firmly to lighten up, but engage muscle to bone core activation here as you rise up. So hands can come clasped behind you. Think belly button in, pubic bone drives forward, tailbone long, so we don't arch the back here. Open your heart, open your chest. Now you can sweep the arms up if that feels good. Now think about here, pressing the mat apart, maybe even playing here to try to get the front thigh parallel to the floor. So instead of an angle here, as low, sink the hips. So really breathing through this. Think about the stretch in the back calf. Now you're gently going to take the hands to heart center. You're going to lift up the back heel. Pivot the foot and hips slightly forward, so you're in a long lunge. Now in this lunge, take your hands to your hips.
Lean forward into that front leg, and I want you to think back heel is stacked. The back heel isn't behind the toes, it's stacked over the ball of your foot. So we're really going to activate this front leg. Now I'd like you to come in to a little kickstand. I'm going to move back on my mat. And I'd like you to keep your hands pressing back along the sides of your rib cage. We're going to come into airplane pose. So really spread the toes of the foot on the ground. Think grip, short foot. We practice that. Glutes fire from the hip bridges and come into your airplane pose. So I want you to really spread your fingers, spread your toes. And then as you come down, you're going to take the back toes tucked under, back ball of the foot to the ground and come up. So heel stays way forward. Into that airplane and then right back up. And if you want more, warrior 3. Arms are forward, that's going to challenge your core more. You've got 2 more reps. Inhale up, exhale, remember warrior 3, arms forward. Front leg should be really working hard here. Last one, if you want the airplane pose, the arms are back along your side or even challenge halfway through. Float the back foot in, take a deep breath in. So that leg closest to me should really feel fired. Press firmly into the opposite foot and lean away from the leg you just worked. Creating that C shape. Come back to center. Deep breath in, arms separate. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step to high plank. Knees or toes lower down. Inhale, lift your upward pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath here. So I want you to inhale the leg furthest from me, up. You're way high on the foot fold, step through. Look back, place the back heel in. Push down into the mat. Brace muscle to bone and rise. Arms can be all the way up, or you can take them behind your body here. Think, push them out apart. Maybe a little bit of movement here. Again, looking to get that front thigh parallel to the floor. We're 37 minutes in. Goes fast. So really think about here the stretch in the back calf. So I want you to take your hands to hips, lift up the back heel and pivot the hip. Now I want you to come so far forward, you even have to adjust your stance that your back heel is not behind the toes, it's over the toes, okay? And then from there, keep your hands to hips here. I'm going to move back on my mat. Keep your hands to hips as you kickstand and then find your T position. Arms reach back with fingers really wide and active here. Back foot really pressed. Touch down, keep the weight in the front foot. Exhale, go again. So really think, how much can you push down? If you'd like to, warrior 3, your biceps are going to stay aligned with your ears as you come in. Challenging. Think inner arch of the foot on the floor stays grounded. You're going to want to lighten up to that outside part of the foot, really grounded in. You've got 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Find that stability. And then slowly float the arms in and leg in. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now, here, once you have your feet together, and drop your hips, squeeze your inner thighs, reach the arms up, chair pose. So on your chair pose, I want you to think knees, squeeze. Hips, slightly above the knees for now. Tuck the pelvis so the back is flat. So we don't want to arch the back here. Tuck the pelvis, tuck your tailbone, lower down. Sweep those arms up from there. Good, squeeze the thighs, hands come to heart center. And you're going to turn your heart toward me. So you're going to turn the heart toward me, but make sure your knee that you're turning toward doesn't slide back. So keep the knees squeezed together. If you can, hook that elbow down. Squeeze, press, lower the pelvis if you can, lift the heart higher. If it works for you to open the arms, you can go ahead and do that here. But really I want you to squeeze, like think muscle to bone, heart to side, reaching up, reaching down. 1 more breath. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale, fold. Inhale to your high plank. Muscle to bone, push into the mat to find that. Exhale, keep pushing into the mat even to lower. Pull the hands back as you inhale and lift. Exhale to down dog. Take a full breath here. Now this time we're going to lift up both of our heels super high, okay? And we're going to bend the knees to lower the pelvis a little bit. This is a little donkey kick. Bring your hands a little closer. Bend your elbows a little and push the arms straight. So bend and push. Bend and push. Now from here, as you push, I want you to lift your feet up. Bend, push. You can even start to kick your bum. Push, kick your bum. Push, kick your bum. A little float even. 4, 3, 2. This time hop halfway up your mat and drop into a nice deep squat here. Good. And slowly lift up into a forward fold. Take your feet and knees together. Lower your hips. Hands to heart. Chair pose on the other side. So the activation here, our shirts up, is you want to make sure the knees stay side by side. So hips up a little higher than your knees. Heart comes forward. Turn the chest away from me, but make sure the knee you're turning toward isn't sliding back. There's your work. Hook the elbow up if it's there. Now each time you exhale, pull your heart more to the side. Look at that knee. So pull the opposite hip back. Open the arms if that feels right for you. Breathe and lengthen. Exhale, realign. So more activation of thighs squeezing, hips aligning, knees aligning. One more breath. Press to the ground to rise. Legs should be a little tired here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, high plank. Now here you're pushing in, bracing, engaging. Come forward, low plank. Belly to floor. Upward facing or baby cobra. Downward facing dog. Right leg or leg closest to me lifts. The other heel is really high. Pull through, step, place it. Back heel presses down. Rise, squeeze muscle to bone. Hands to heart center. And you're going to turn into your warrior two. So your heart's going to turn to the side. Front knee is over the ankle. Inner thighs open. Back foot is adjusted, so slightly turned in or parallel to the long and short end of your mat. Now, see if you can adjust your feet and sink the pelvis so that your inner thigh is parallel to the floor. Push the knee back. And I'd like you to go ahead and take your hand to the inner knee and push it back. Now push against it. And you're still pushing down into the ground. That's it, good. Now, straighten the front leg. And then take the arms up. Maintain that foot shape. As you exhale, bend the front knee, go deeper. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, go deeper. Remember that front knee stays over the ankle. One more time. Exhale, go deeper. Now, last time here is we straighten the front leg. Arms come parallel. Slide over the foot that's facing the front of the mat. Good time to have a block. All right, so if you have a yoga block, you can place it here as we come into a triangle pose. So use the block or the floor inside or outside the angle, but still maintaining the flat edge of your ribs, flat edge of the ribs. Top arm can come forward. So think push into the floor with both feet in hand. Bend the front knee. Push into the floor once again to come back into that warrior two. So reach back. Good. Straighten both legs. Pick up the ball of the front foot. Pivot it toward your mat. Hands to hips. So remember you're pushing down to get light. Push down into the mat. Draw the thigh bones up and think really tighten up every muscle as you come into a deep forward fold. Hands can come to the mat. Pull yourself down more. Now we're just going to come into some mobility in the hips here. As you come up to straight arms, walk your feet in a little bit. And remember, lighten up on your heels now. I want you to pick up your midfoot, okay? So if you can, just lift your eyes a little bit here and look, lift the midfoot, because they'll lift it, pivot it, and come back. Knee follows, lift, pivot, come back. So you always want the knees
following in the same direction as the toes, okay? So from here, I want you to bend your left knee. Yeah, yoga block here could be nice. And you can travel with it, bend the right knee. So willpower and grace, it's almost like a cougar lunge. Now here's where I want you to work what feels right for you. As you bend the left knee, pivot the right ball of the foot, you can reach further forward, toes to the ceiling. Coming on up, walking to the other side. And again, you're pivoting through those feet. Up and over. If this bothers your low back, stay high. Try to keep this heel on the ground. If it has to lift, it has to lift. It's ankle mobility. Lift up and come through. Lift up and come through. If you can use no hands, use no hands. If you need that support, use that support. We're going to go one more time each way. And last one. And then gently come back to your forward fold. Hands to hips as you inhale, press down to rise. Heel toe the feet. Step to the top of the mat, take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale to your high plank. Knees or toes, low plank. Breathe and lift. Find your downward facing dog. Feet together. And this time you're going to step the other leg up and through. Find warrior one on this side. So think before you come, push down into the mat, muscle to bone for activation. Access your power. Hands to heart center, pivot, warrior two on the other side. So take a few breaths here, maybe a little bit of movement to find the depth of this pose. Finding over the ankle, striving to get front thigh parallel to the floor. And then just push those walls away. Now straighten the front leg, arms can come up. Bend the front knee, maybe you find more depth. Inhale, come up. Pause. Exhale, sink. I'm on a bit of an angle here to you, so it might look funny. All the way up. Now, legs stay straight. Arms come down shoulder height. Think, pull this hip back as you slide the rib cage forward. So your top shoulder and hip are lined up, right? And that bottom hip creases and comes under. Find the arm position that works for you. So sometimes a block on the highest setting is really nice here because you're not dumping into it, you're pushing out of it, okay? So if that triangle works for you, hand inside or outside, don't grab an option because I'm just showing you all options. I want to make sure that the shoulder isn't sagging forward, your heart is open here. Arms are strong, pressing deeply into the ground at the level that works for you. One more breath, breathe in. Breathe out, go deeper. Bend the front knee on the inhale, come back up, find that warrior two again. Good. Straighten the front leg, pivot the foot forward, hands to hips, forward fold. We're at 48. So we really have to take it down now. So slowly and gently here, start to heel toe the feet in. Now find your deepest squat here. And I want to end with a little play. Okay, so we've got some mobility, we've got some power, we activated core, we activated glutes. I'm going to try to do this reverse. So facing me on your mat, okay, both legs come out straight, toes lift. Now I want you to think of the energy that we use, like pulling muscle to bone, right? Tightening up parts that we need. Whatever's on the floor, we're going to push down into to lighten everything else up. So remember, pushing into the floor. So try it here, hands to the floor, lift your bum, okay? Pushing down, something's going to lighten up, especially if we're pulling tendon, ligament, muscle inward to the bone. That's really going to be important here. This is fun, okay? So with your feet really strong, flex, muscle to bone. Take your right foot, bring it in as close to the butt as you can, like you did on your bridge, okay? And then just kind of lean forward here. You can walk it out of it if you need to, or let that knee come out a little if you need to. And if you can, reach forward and take a hold of your left foot, left toes, okay? And that may be as far as you get, that's okay. Now, what I want you to do is you come back, I want you to pick up your right foot and then bring it across you with your foot dorsiflex. Don't let that foot plantar flex. Dorsiflex, toes to shin, strong. And then just sort of rock it. Rock it, rock it, rock it. And this may be enough for that hip. If you can, hug it in. This is called rocking the baby, okay? So bottom foot strong, you're hugging that foot into your chest, rocking the baby, okay? Third thing we're gonna do here at each level, if it's too much, take it down. I want you to go ahead and hook your calf around your bicep, okay? And then you might want to just kind of hang out there, okay? Now I'm going to show you an option here. This is how I do this pose. So as you come down, you're going to take your right hand to the ground, spread the fingertips. You can keep that foot on the floor, lean forward, okay? I'm going to now hook my left foot over my right. So I want you to think about using your right foot to pick up your left. Okay, I know this looks crazy, but in the meanwhile, you're going to squeeze your right arm as much as you can, okay? So come in, brace everything muscle to bone, and lift yourself up off the floor. So squeeze that right arm, and use your legs, float the butt up, and then release down. And we're going to do that on the other side. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of core activation there. So legs straight. This time bring your left foot in. I'm reversing this. Lean forward, grabbing right foot if that's available. That might be as far as you want to go. You might need to grab the calf, right? Draw your belly in super strong. And then we're going to go ahead and sit back. And you can even take your left ankle to your right upper thigh if you'd like, if that's too much. Sweep back and forth, foot strong. If you can, rock the baby. So you're going to have the left foot in the crook of the right arm and just rock that baby. So maybe go forward and back, feeling left hip activation, okay? Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to slide your left arm underneath, and this may be as far as you want to go. Just kind of hook, because what we're going to eventually do is the left calf is going to be hooked over the upper arm as we kind of come forward and create this hand hold, right? Lean forward, hook your right ankle on top of your left foot. So you're going to kind of use that foot, and you might even just play there to lift that up. So as you come forward, squeezing your left arm with your thighs and lift the feet off the floor and drop. If that didn't work, come back to it again. Hook. I cheat and hook these up already here, and that might be as far as you want to go. So as you're squeezing bottom foot to top ankle, press into the mat just to lift your bum, okay? And then as you do that, start to squeeze. We'll keep you here on the floor if you need to. Squeeze this arm, okay, as you lift the hips up. Take a breath. Come on back down, we'll play with it one more time. Firmly press, lift, start to extend, feet off the floor, drive, and release. So you really feel that burn right into that side. Well, it's time to take it down. 53 minutes. All right, let's get rid of all that. Nicely done. Forward fold, feet out nice and long, muscle to bone, draw the heart forward. Grab the feet if it's available, hands to the mat if not. Let your forehead drop. Each breath, lift your ribcage, slide it further forward. And then gently and slowly come on down, knees to chest. Grab a happy baby pose here, so feet wide. Grabbing the soles of your feet, pull your feet down, press your feet into your hands, so create that grounding from the tailbone to the shoulders. And then take your feet to the floor. I'm going to turn to face you. I want your feet to be out wide, arms out, palms facing up. Draw both knees to one side. Feel the inner thigh stretch, especially that side you just worked. And then the other way. And the other way. One more time each way. And if one side feels better than the other, rest there for a breath.
And then I'd like you to take your knees in and let them rest on top of one another. Take your hands right up over your shoulders, cross one elbow over the other, bend the elbows so your arms are resting like this. Okay? Let your shoulders sink into the ground and reach your arms up. Cross the elbow, one elbow over. Let your hands come to your shoulders. So everything's disengaged here, hip flexors, shoulders. And then gently let your hands come down to your side. Slide one leg at a time away. And then I want to use that same, as we activated to lift, we're going to use it to release here. So as you're laying on the floor with your palms facing up, I'd like you to scrunch your toes and tense up your calves. And then exhale, let that go. On an inhale, squeeze your bum and tighten up your quadriceps, your thighs as much as you can. And then exhale, let that go. On an inhale, make fists, tighten your arms, press your shoulders into the mat, tighten your belly. And then exhale, let that go. Then on the next inhale, tighten everything. So fist, squeeze, scrunch, tighten everything, press it into the mat. Feel how tight it feels, and then exhale, let it all go. And then typically we have issues with the lower back, so I want you to take it into the pelvis again. Squeeze your butt muscles like you're trying not to poop or pee. Tight, tight, tight. And I want you to take note of your tailbone as you release the glutes and let that go. You should feel your tailbone heavier. And I'd like you to go ahead and do that one more time. Tighten, tense. And then exhale, let go. So if you're ever like having difficulty relaxing, it helps to tighten up so you feel the difference. And then release. Sometimes we don't know what it feels like to truly relax. So we've got about 2 minutes here. And I'd like you to really, really take this time to let your body fully rest. Relax your toes. Release any tension in your ankles, your shins, your calves. Release tension in the knee joint, in the thighs, both front and back. And release tension in your pelvis, your hips, your glutes. Release tension in your chest, in your ribs, in your shoulders. Some anxiety can cause us to have constriction in the chest and our breathing. Take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. And then feel your shoulders and the back of your head just melting into the mat. And feel your whole body now. Just relaxing into the floor. Give yourself what you need here. And just see what you can let go of here so you can take another minute in this peace. And just now start to deepen your breath and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your ankles and wrists. Draw your knees to your chest and roll to one side. And with your eyes closed, use your top arm to push and come right up into a seated position that feels really good for you. It might be on a blanket, it might be on a block, it could be on your butt. And even here, press down into the ground to let that pressing down lightens everything else up. So as you press down through your pelvis,
Feel your spine long and strong, slight pulling inward. So access that beautiful power and strength. Float the arms up. So as you press down, the arms can just float up. Take your palms together, your thumb knuckles to your forehead, your wisdom, your knowledge. I hope you learned something in your practice today. Your thumb knuckles, your lips, your voice. Always speak your truth. And then to your heart center. All three coming from a place of love. Connecting those 3 points. I honor the student in you and the teacher in you, with the student in me and the teacher in me. Namaste, guys. Have an awesome, awesome day.